Okay, we are on page 5 today. We're going to continue on with our translating using those words sum, product, difference, quotient, equal to, decreased by, increased by. We're going to continue all of those words. Okay, we're on level 3. This is page 5. But we're going to add in a new word. So we're going to continue working with the words we already had, but we're going to add in a new word. It's really a phrase. It's not a single word. It's the quantity. So when you see the words the quantity, okay, and I'm going to put that up. I've got a little box I made for myself up in the corner here. I'm going to put the quantity means you're going to have parentheses. So the quantity is saying, hey, anything that comes next here goes together. Okay, so it's telling you to put parentheses to gather together what's coming next. Okay, so these ones are going to get, these coming problems here are going to get meaty and they're going to get super long. So here we go. The quantity, parentheses. So that means I need to start with parentheses. Okay, then I'll do this next part. 9 decreased by. That means minus. So 9 decreased by, let's keep going, 3 times. So 3 times. Remember, this is kind of weird and awkward, a number x. I know x isn't a number. That's just going to be x. And we talked about, especially when you're putting this into your Go Formative, this dot that we've been putting there should not show up when you actually type it into Go Formative. Okay, so I'm going to get my little white out here, and I'm going to get rid of that dot, because that dot should not show up on your Go Formative answers. There's not really a good way to type that in, and that's okay because we don't actually need it. Okay, so that x is going to go just right next to that 3. Tuck it in right next to that 3. Okay, once you have kind of two things connected in here by an add or subtract, that ends your parentheses. And now I'm going to continue on behind the parentheses with plus 2. Okay, this is kind of unconventional with the quantity because of the fact that we typically wouldn't have a plus 2. We would maybe have like equals something, but that's okay. We're just practicing with the words the quantity. All right, here we go. Next one. So the next one has this fancy word for subtraction right here at the beginning. It says the difference. So the difference means subtraction, and that subtraction sign is going to go where this word and shows up. That's going to become a subtraction sign. So here we go. 7, put in that sign, and then here's our newbie, the quantity, which means put a parentheses. Okay, and inside that parenthesis, I'm going to do a y minus 6. That one wasn't quite so bad. Okay. All right, moving on. Let's try another one. This one's pretty straightforward at the beginning. 4 times the quantity. So now, again, I would do 4 times, and the quantity tells me, put a parentheses. Now, same thing is true about this dot right here. If you have a 4 outside of a parenthesis, that dot doesn't need to be there. Okay, that's how we tell ourselves when we're doing times. but there's an invisible times anytime you have a parenthesis. So that's already there when I just lay down my parentheses. So 4 times the quantity, just put a parenthesis. So that dot disappears again. Okay, so now what's inside of here is the quotient, that means divide, and I'm going to put that divide sign here. So 25 divided by, or if we're talking about how you're going to type this into your calculator, it's that backslash button. 25 divided by a z. I don't like z's in there. Decreased by 2. Okay. So once you have that add or subtract inside that quantity, you can end the parenthesis. And then the last part of this one, there's more, is 10. So is meaning equals 10. Okay. This one's so long it barely fits on my paper. 17 is equal to, so let's start with that one, kind of goes backward to the one that we just did. So 17 is equal to, that part was pretty straightforward. Now I'm going to stop, I'm going to pause to see if you can read the next part and write it down. And you might have gotten stuck, and that's okay. But hopefully, this is what I'm hoping. You read 3 times the quantity, and you did this. 3, no dot required, parenthesis. Okay, if you have just that, you're good. If you read on, you got to write this down. Write it down piece by piece by piece. Okay, inside that parentheses, I need to write down 6 divided. So 6 divided by. So 6 divided by. Now, here's where you might have gotten stuck. So I put a box up at the top for myself to show what the quantity means. So right here, I'm going to put another box for myself. Make another little note to self. Okay, so the note to self is going to say this. The square of a number x. Okay, I'll slide that in there. What would you write if it said the square of a number x? You would write x with a square on it. Okay, or here's another way to say that. Just come out and say it. X squared would also get you to write that. Okay, so when it says 6 divided by the square of m, kind of backwards how it's written, but there it is, the square of m. Finish it off here with plus 9. And close up that parenthesis. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move forward and practice at the bottom of page 5, and then we'll kind of go over some to see how you did.